Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of NASCAR Heat 4 Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we go racing all three series in the Trucks, Xfinity, and the Cup Series there. As you see today's news, Kyle Busch is once again even closer to Dale Earnhardt's win count after winning recently here in Michigan. Matt Tifft has closed in on a top 30 spot once again. There's a bit of a typo. That's kind of the mistakes you make when you're trying to make this early in the morning. There's Gary Owen says his next season plans will be announced in Indy, and Brad Keselowski continues to be under major pressure to get a win and not have to worry about Matt Tifft being able to get his playoff spot here if he gets in that top 30. But we come straight through into this weekend's racing here at Pocono for the Truck Series, where we had Hailie Deegan back in the truck. Unfortunately, after failing optical scanning stations, she had to start at the back of the field as she went down towards turns one, nearly getting into the wall there in that first corner. But it was a pretty rough race for Hailie Deegan as she worked her way forwards, but she didn't get very far. Now she comes straight through to the final lap. She'd kind of gotten up in towards that little midfield area, getting really aggressive as she came through out of turn 3, heading down this front straightaway for the final time contact there with Justin Anderson, and it was certainly not a great finish for Hailie as she came through to cross the line and finish P21 here in the Truck Series. So definitely some work to do in the next race for trucks, but we come through now into the Xfinity Series, where we had subscriber and one of my friends from the Nitro Racing League, Smoke GT, in the car. You've probably seen him, of course, in some of the Nitro videos where he races a 2-car. But sure enough, he had worked his way forwards quite a bit throughout this race, as well as he came through turn 3, making the pass, and then he would close in up on the back of the 11 of Justin Haley on the final lap now as he came through to pass Haley on the exit of turn 2 for P2, but Cole Custer at this point was just a little bit too far out to reach on this final lap as Smoke went down through turns 3 and out of turns 4. So out of turns 4, it would be a second place finish for Smoke GT, so a very solid effort for us, as that's our best finish since we won with this team earlier this season at, I think it was Las Vegas. So now we come through right into Cup Series qualifying, coming through to cross the line at 15.650, and we go P5, so a very solid qualifying effort for us here today in Bristol. Hopefully we can carry over the speed into the race and get another Bristol win with Ryan Blaney on the pole here as we get ready to go green.
The Cup Series returns to the last great Coliseum for the Bass Pro Shops NRA Night Race. This half-mile concrete oval is famous for its bone-rattling hits and heart-stopping finishes. Who will come out on top tonight? It's time to find out.
All right, we're ready to go green here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Thank you, Rick Allen. There you see Joey Gase, who looks a bit slow today. This team has their work cut out for them. And then we have our friend and teammate Clint Boywer ready to go now, as well as we got Ryan Blaney on that front row with Matt DiBenedetto there in P2. Both of them need to win to get into the playoffs. So we could see one of them win today and completely change everything for Brad Keselowski, especially now as we're ready to go green from the 5th starting position. Truex in front of us, who's winless as well now as the green flag is out, and we are underway here at Bristol Motor Speedway. The top 4 drivers are all winless this season, and you don't expect me to say that when you got Martin Truex Jr. and Brad Keselowski up there in the top 4. Usually combined you would expect them both to have 5-6 wins together this season, as we get cleared by Kyle Busch though through turns 3 and out of turns 4 as we come through to complete this first and opening lap. Behind us we got Denny Hamlin battling our teammate of Clint Boywer. Immediately, of course, I get up to this more middle lane. As you guys know, that's more of the lane that prevails quite a bit here at Bristol, and this is the lane that I'm more comfortable with. So immediately we get to the outside of Kyle Busch, but Denny Hamlin forces it 3 wide, so Kyle Busch backs out of the 3 wide middle as we go down into turns 1. And to my surprise, the middle lane just wasn't working very well, especially when you get stuck behind Matt DiBenedetto, who was not as fast as myself on that middle lane. And then we continued up on this high lane battle with everybody, and I just was struggling quite a bit on these opening laps. We dropped down to P7 behind Ryan Newman. Joey Logano in front of us. Clint Boywer would come through to pass us as we went 3 wide up the middle between Logano and Boywer. Got to be careful with Boywer. He has to win to get in. And of course, you guys know I really want to help Clint Boywer get a win and get into the playoffs. There was a little bit of contact made with Joey Logano, and he would actually go sliding up the track. We would pass him, and then we would get to the inside of Boywer here on lap 16 now, trying to put the pressure on him. But he would continue moving his way forwards now as we had gotten to the back of DiBenedetto. Then Hamlin hits us from behind into turns 1 and lap 18. He hangs onto the car, thankfully, and we keep things green now as DiBenedetto passes Newman. We slice to the outside of Ryan Newman at this point on lap 19, and now we're just going to kind of cruise by these guys on the outside as we're starting to deal with lap traffic at this point. We continue to just kind of move our way forwards to the point where we would run down Brad Keselowski and whatnot throughout this run. So we came through on lap 22, passing Keselowski right there for the 4th position as we're continuing to deal with lap traffic there, stuck behind the 71 of Ryan Truex, who's sliding on the exit of the corner. We got to the back of him there in turns 1, and Newman gets to the inside. He clears us as the 71 sideways. He hangs onto the car, certainly frustrated at this point with that 71 car. We finally get past him and continue back on our way. We repass the 9 of Elliott, and then we would get past Benedetto once again on lap 25, approaching 5 to go here at the line, and then we would get to the outside again of Ryan Newman. So lap traffic certainly a big issue here in this first stage for us as we're sliding on the exit of turns 2 a little bit there as we went down into turn 3. Finally though, side by side with the 6 of Newman, and we would pass him and take over P4 and continue to run down the next group of cars who were stuck once again behind lap traffic. We came through to start the final lap here in stage 1, getting to the outside of the 96. There you see Tyler Reddick in the 31, Bowyer up there in P3, Blaney and Truex all in the mix now as we go down this back straightaway for the final time here down into turn 3. We're closing in really quickly on this group of cars, and actually out of turns 4 we're going to be able to pass our teammate Clint Boywer at the line there and get P3 in stage 1. Martin Truex Jr. wins the stage, Ryan Blaney P2, myself 3rd, 4th belongs to Bowyer, 5th rounded out by Ryan Newman for Roush Fenway Racing. We obviously come to the pit lane for 2 cans of fuel, 4 tires, make a slight wedge adjustment because the car did feel pretty loose, and we take the lead on the pit lane here, ready for stage 2. The top 2 stage 1 finishers of Martin Truex Jr. and Ryan Blaney nowhere to be found, so they both had really bad pit stops or something as we get underway here for stage 2. 28 laps in the second stage. Bowyer up here on the mix. Like I said, Bowyer has to win to get into the playoffs. He's the only Stewart-Haas Racing driver that hasn't won. Everyone else has 2 wins, 3 wins between myself, Harvick, and Eric Almirola, who is, I think, the most recent winner for Stewart-Haas Racing this season. But Bowyer drops down to P3, trying to hang on to that 3rd position over Eric Jones in the Joe Gibbs Racing car, as he's looking for his first win in a long time now. As Elliott, though, gets to my inside. He won at this track here in career mode back in, I think, our rookie season it was now, as we exit turns 4 side by side with the Hendrick Motorsports drivers go down into turns 1, doing my best to hang on to that lead, but the 9 just had too much on the short run. I didn't feel like we had a lot of short run speed here today, and Eric Jones, he would get to my inside, sure enough, on lap 6. He would pass me as well as we came out of turn 2, and then he would get to the inside of the 9, and then I hit the wall, and then I decided to just let the 14 go, and then they would both go past Elliott, and they would drive away as we got into the left rear of Elliott here on lap 10. He goes sliding. He hits the wall. Now we're going to be side by side as we exit turn 2, and very close quarters there with the 9. We continued in this battle here with Elliott. We hit each other again on lap 11, and once again the 9 drifts up the track, and then we would clear him for the position. Not Denny Hamlin, as Chase Elliott in the 9 now as came through on lap 13. Elliott, though, going back up the inside at this point, as I just didn't quite have that speed that I needed, as we made contact once again down the back straightaway into turn 3. Elliott slides and he hits us in the left side, and now the caution comes out here in stage 2 as a very heated battle there with the 9 of Elliott went down. We're going to get a look at what just happened here to bring out this caution. No pit stop necessary to keep in mind, but here is the replay of the caution. BJ McLeod just went into the corner and blew a tire or something, went spinning pretty hard into the outside wall with the rear end of the car, but we would obviously get back going here, ready to go green. Eric Jones P1, Clint Boywer P2, myself Elliott on the second row, 3rd and 4th now as the green flag is out, and we are on the way. We've certainly had a few heated moments with the 9 of Chase Elliott this season, so definitely got to keep that in mind going into the playoffs this season, as we're both going to be obviously locked into the playoffs at this point. As we go down into turn 3, Bowyer hangs on to P2 now as we're trying to look up the inside. I wasn't trying to put too much pressure on our teammate of Clint Boywer, as obviously we want to help Bowyer get to victory lane here today, as this could be his one and only chance left in this season to get a win here in Bristol. Now as we exit turn 2, Elliott back to my outside as we go down into turn 3, trying obviously to clear the 9, but I just didn't quite have the pace on that restart there. But Bowyer was certainly looking really racy because he would take the lead. Elliott would pass Eric Jones. Elliott would drive away. So now it was myself and Eric Jones battling it out here as we came through towards the final few laps of this second stage. Now as we would, though, get to the inside of Jones, pass him out of turns 4 and take over that 3rd position. And we were closing in on the top 2 drivers as we approached the final lap in the stage. You saw how sideways I was there on the exit of turns 4. Now as we go down into turns 1 and 2. Clint Boywer, though, doing everything he needs to do to lock himself into the playoffs here, but now obviously he still has to win this 3rd and final stage as he comes through out of turns 4 to win stage 2. So Bowyer just needs to get one more stage out of the way to be locked into the playoffs, which would kick out out the 5th place finisher here in Stage 2 of Brad Keselowski. So big implications could happen. If Bowyer wins his way in, then Matt Tifft gets in the top 30. Eric Jones, who is 6th in points, would be out of the playoffs. So that would be a massive shakeup. So we're going to see just how things are going to shake up here in these final few races. We would make another slight wedge adjustment and once again take the lead on the pit stops. Our pit crew has been on fire so far here tonight now as we get ready to go green for Stage 3. Bowyer up here in the 2nd position now as the green flag is out, and the 3rd and final stage is underway here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Bowyer winning would change a lot of things, and it's mind-boggling to think about how weird of a season this has been so far with the point situation, when we can actually say that Eric Jones, who is 6th place in the points, still is at risk of facing no playoff show here this season, as he could very well get kicked out of that top 16 due to other drivers winning. So we're going to see what plays out now as Bowyer did not have a good restart. He drifts down to P4. It's now SHR, Joe Gibbs, and then SHR again to round out this top 4 now. As we hang on to the lead here, we just don't seem though to have that speed that we usually have here in Bristol. I did actually run a different preset because the preset I had coming into this race was the one I used from the Nitro League race, and it certainly wasn't working very well against the AI. Now as Jones passed me, Denny Hamlin passed me, he would put the pressure on Eric Jones. Hamlin has been on fire recently. He's led the points for the majority of the season, but he hadn't won until quite a bit late in the regular season, and all of a sudden he's really caught on fire here as he would take the lead from his teammate. We would get to the inside of Eric Jones, actually getting into his left rear a little bit there, but he hangs on to it thankfully, and Bowyer would get to my inside, and I decided to just let Bowyer go. I was not going to mess with him, as we know his situation. So sure enough, he passes Eric Jones. He was starting to put a little bit of pressure on the 11 of Denny Hamlin as he was closing in on him. We get past Eric Jones in the 20 and take P3 back over, as I was just hoping that I could kind of be like almost Clint Boyer's defense if he does take that lead. Now as we were starting to once again work our way through lap traffic, and then we get behind our buddy of Ryan Truex, who messed with us earlier, he didn't mess with us, but he was in our way and we hit him quite a few times. So as I decided to be pretty calm with him as we came through turns 3 and out of turns 4, but I actually decided to chop his nose a little bit on the exit of the corner to let him know I didn't appreciate what happened throughout this race. But Clint Boywer would take the lead back from Denny Hamlin here. Now on lap 86, you can see how much lap traffic we were working with. I sliced to the inside now of Denny Hamlin a few laps later and actually get into the door of our teammate Kevin Harvick there, who's not having a good race at all. Harvick struggling very hard today. Now as he's running behind the 96 of Parker Kligerman. To put that in perspective now, as we came through on lap 94, Bowyer had gotten away from the lap traffic and started to drive away, and then we would obviously get through and get into another set of cars of lap traffic and run Bowyer right back down as we came through turns 1 and 2 at this point on lap 100. Now there's a little bit of contact there with the 21 of Paul Menard. Now as came through on lap 101 just behind the 14 as there's a car blowing up. It's Matt Tifft, who's trying to make it into the top 30 in points here to make the playoffs, and this could change everything here in the playoff grid if he can't get back, out back in the track. So big issues for him, and then as this is happening, the 31 of Tyler Reddick goes spinning into the outside wall. Now as that's going to bring out a caution on lap 100. What a mess things just turned into here in Bristol, but that caution will probably save Matt Tifft here, as this would actually allow him to get back out on track. Once again, we take the lead because of a really bad reason. The AI took tires, we did not, and now as we completely screwed up the strategy once again, as I figured that just a splash of fuel wouldn't require any tires, and I was actually pretty confident the AI did not take tires at this point. And then we go down into turn 3 leading on this restart, and the 14, he just completely drives right on by me on the outside of turns 4, so immediately I knew what exactly just happened. We completely messed up the strategy once again here this season. Now as the 11's going to drive by, the 24's on my inside. William Byron all of a sudden up here in the mix. He could spice things up and change that playoff grid as well, but Bowyer at this point, I'm just hoping that he can drive away now as we exit turns 4. I wanted to be the driver obviously that defended him to hold on to that win, and obviously it's been jeopardized. We just would follow down the order at this point now, as I was very frustrated with myself here at this point now, as we completely screwed up the strategy once again at a track we had so much speed at. I probably wasn't going to win the race because, like I said, I was going to do what I could to defend Clint Boywer, but we continued to fall down to P15 here on lap 117, and then the caution comes out with 9 to go, which we did not want to see because Bowyer had a comfortable lead. But obviously, you know what we had to do. We had to come back to the pit lane and put 4 tires on the car because there was only, I think, 7 positions behind us on the lead lap, so we don't really lose too much. But this would set us up for a very late race restart. Bowyer, Elliott, and then Hamlin, P1, P2, and P3 as the green flag is back out. Only 5 laps remain at this point. Obviously, we're just hoping Bowyer can hold on to the victory and lock himself into the playoffs, which will put Brad Keselowski on the outside looking in. That was a big surprise. He's running top 10 in points, but Bowyer has a very solid restart from the looks of it as he would lead out of turn 4 as Hamlin and Elliott were battling side by side as we came through, continuing to just kind of run on this outside lane and make a bunch of positions up now as we came through to just 2 laps to go. Down into turns 1, Bowyer still leading about a car length and a half maybe or so in front of Denny Hamlin as we exit turn 2. We're going to go 3 wide out the middle between the 3 and the 6. At this point, I'm just hoping I don't cause an incident now. As though Bowyer, you can see up ahead, just watch up ahead at this point. Bowyer chose an outside lane into turn 3 and down into turns 1 on the final lap. He does it again. And Hamlin is going to get to the left rear of Clint Boywer here on this final lap. Bowyer might be throwing the race at this point as we exit turn 2. Big contact there as they go down into turn 3. Hamlin to the inside of Bowyer. He takes the lead on the exit of turns 4. Denny Hamlin wins in Bristol as we come through to finish in the 12th position. A big mess for Bowyer at the end of this race. Leads the majority of the final stage. Coming to the white flag, he knows he just has to run the bottom to make the playoffs. And what does he do? He runs the middle lane and gives the win away to Denny Hamlin here in Bristol. Talk about a shakeup in the final 20 to 25 laps here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Very unfortunate there as Matt Tifft finished P32, and then after the race I just said our strategy was awful tonight. We need to figure this out fast. Obviously we got 2 regular season races to go where obviously we're going to just kind of spend the time and try to make sure we can get the strategy down before we hit the playoffs, because if we make these same mistakes in the playoffs, we're going to get ourselves eliminated without a doubt. So we definitely need to get this mess organized and see what we can do here. As always, though, if you guys did enjoy this episode, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Those would all be very appreciated. Here's the big picture right now. Bowyer would have won there if it was a lap less or even half a lap less. Unfortunately for him, he did not get the win. He's 64 points out, so he's obviously likely not going to have a chance as we go into Darlington now, as Keselowski still holds that last spot in. But Matt Tifft, surprisingly, you saw him blow an engine. Well, he's still closed in on the top 30 in points after that. He is now just about 7 points out going into Darlington. 7 points is all he needs, so we're going to see if he can gain that in Darlington or maybe all in Indy. So I'll see you guys in the next one for the throwback race in the Southern 500. Thank you for watching, everybody, and have yourselves a great day.